Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to our Monday educational webinar. And if you haven't noticed, I have a special guest with me, Mr. Ben Glinsky, our CEO.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Yeah, Lisa's out traveling, so we're going to tackle this thing without her today. But we've got a big topic. Before I jump right in, though, I wanted to remind you guys how important it is that you subscribe to our channel and that you follow, and that way you get all the most current updates and announcements and things that are going on. Because, guys, if you haven't noticed, we are moving at very, very fast pace.
We're rolling, baby.
We're rolling, baby.
We're crushing it.
We're rolling. So today we're going to talk about hydration. We're going to talk about the importance of electrolytes. We're going to talk about the signs and symptoms of dehydration, and we're going to kind of break down some of the things that are going on, what people, like most common questions I see. People have a lot of like concerns about supplementing with salt and things of that nature. So we'll talk about that a little bit today. But honestly, I think this is a great chance just to talk personally between the two of us and say, you know what, how are we incorporating this product into our daily lives? Since we started using this product, have we noticed any changes in both our exercise performance, our sleep, our just daily stress levels, whatever it might be? There's so many things that these electrolytes can do that are beneficial for our everyday health. And what do you tell people? Like, how do you say to somebody, hey, you should try this hydration amplifier, X, Y, and Z? Right? Like that's kind of a cool thing too. Cause I think that's a lot of people get that question too. So did you take your electrolytes today?
I did. And it's interesting that you mentioned, because both of those things, exercise and sleep, I notice a difference.
Do you? Awesome.
I do. Yes. So I've been taking it, and I have some questions for you after we talk about
Let's do it.
But yeah, no, I love the product. It definitely, exercise. Yes. I take it before I exercise, and then I'll take it one or two other times throughout the day. I usually take it before I go to bed. It's weird because here's what I noticed, and I was going to wait to ask you about this later. But when I drink, so like I take my magnesium and my factor 4 before I go to bed as well. I should bring those out. I drink it with a glass of water, like a full glass of water. Just I like to hydrate. When I don't drink that glass of water with the hydration amplifier, I get up to pee twice in the night. When I drink it with the hydration amplifier, I either sleep through the night or I get up once.
Yeah.
It's very noticeable. So I try to remember to take my hydration amplifier with my water before I go to bed.
So I actually love that, because people that take like their magnesium, they notice the same thing. So it's actually, it's holding on to some of that water. The kidney's preserving some of the water due to simple osmosis, so that you having more electrolytes in your blood, in your body, in your organs retains more water. Therefore, more hydration.
Right.
That's the simple principle of electrolytes.
Right.
You just
that's what I understand. But let's hear more about that.
Did you work out today?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
My CrossFit class.
I also worked out. I'm curious though, and I recognize that some people are watching live and some people are watching this on recording too. So, but I would love to see if you guys worked out today. Give me a 1. I'd love to just see about how many people exercised today. Just type in a 1. If you have not exercised yet today, but you plan to, just give me a 0 if you haven't done it. And if you have no intention on exercising whatsoever, throw a -1 in there. I'm just kind of curious to see how this goes. And Ben, this is his first time watching StreamYard, so you can see all the comments that flow in.
Yeah, cool.
And it's kind of fun. It's a great way to interact with the audience as well. So, but yeah, absolutely. I think the best way to use the Live Good Electrolyte Hydration Amplifier is prior to a workout. I think that's the best, but you can use it more than one time per day. The question is, what are electrolytes? And the answer is very simple, very, very simple. There's just charged minerals, primarily sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Simple, simple, simple. So we should not be overcomplicating this.
Okay, what does that mean? What is I'm taking notes here.
Right.
Charged mineral?
Right.
How do you charge minerals?
Right, exactly. So they're cations. It just means they have a positive charge attached to them. So that's kind of the principle of it. Like where sodium chloride is a positive and a negative, and that's kind of the science stuff that gets a little complicated because you have to go back to your old chemistry class to get that. But like that's all they are. Sodium by itself has a positive charge. Potassium has a positive charge. Magnesium has a positive charge. And then when you pair it with chloride,
what minerals are not charged?
Well, no, they all would be, but a lot of times they pair up to form a salt, and that's the sodium chloride. So positive likes negative, they kind of merge and they join, and that's what you get.
Okay.
But they just by themselves, isolated single by themselves, sodium by itself is just a charged mineral, just a positive charge on it.
Got it.
But anyway, so these are real important though, guys. These are not just things for exercise people. These are for every single day people, because remember, this is how our cells create energy. there is actually a membrane potential. There's magnesium potassium pump in our cells. And that's why, if you see, we did 1,000 milligrams of sodium. We did 200 milligrams of potassium because that's 5-to-1 ratio, right?
Okay.
1,000 to 200.
So where did that ratio come from?
That's from science. That's actually from science. The cell does a 5-to-1 pump in and out.
Okay.
And that creates this membrane potential. And that is what fires the muscle cell.
So that's magnesium. No,
That's
sodium to potassium.
Sodium to potassium is
Yeah.
5-to-1. And so that membrane potential is actually what's causing nerve conduction. That's actually how we're sending nerve impulses. And that's how we're creating the muscle contraction. So there is a lot of science behind how simple this formula actually is.
Right.
Which is
makes
fun.
sense.
It's great.
I'm going to see, because we have a couple competitor products here.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about this.
For sure.
So maybe they're right on it. Maybe they're not. Let's check it
Well,
out.
I could tell you that the leader in the industry, the leader being the first one to market, really dialed it in well, which is LMT. They did a good job on their actual ratio.
So this is LMNT, and they do.
They should have 1,200 and I think 60 in magnesium.
Sodium to potassium. So sodium, yes,
Should
they have
be
1,000 potassium.
1,000
200.
sodium. There you go.
Right.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, so they do it right.
But there's something a little tricky about this, and this is unconfirmed, guys. I honestly don't know if this is true, but there is some rumor that they had some added ingredients that weren't on the label, like maltodextrin. I don't know if that's factually correct.
So these guys, LMNT, do 490 milligrams of sodium and 380 milligrams of potassium,
Yeah.
almost 1-to-1.
Yeah,
like 1.5 to 1.
Not an ideal ratio.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, not an ideal ratio.
Interesting.
And so, like Ben described, that taking it before bed and not peeing as much, I mean, certainly that makes sense because, again, the body works a lot on osmosis. Have you heard that the body's mostly water?
Yes.
Did you know that the brain has different concentrations than, say, the lung, and the skin has different? On average, we're about 2/3 water.
Okay.
We can be as high as 84 in the lungs. The brain can be a different percentage. The skin's a different percentage. The eyes, the bone.
Okay.
Mostly water, though. Mostly water. But that's not just plain water. It's not like, oh, let's just go get some distilled water, plain water. It is electrolytes in the water. It's a salt water.
Okay.
That's
so
the body.
every part of our body that has water, regardless of the amount or ratio, needs electrolytes in that
100%.
water.
Probably the biggest exception, closest exception would be fat. Fat only has about 10% water, which we all say, like, no wonder why. Fat's super metabolically unhealthy tissue. It's only like 10% water. Muscle, take a guess. What percent would you think? Just as a throw it out there.
75.
Boom, right on the money.
Boom.
Yeah, it's about 75% water.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's really cool because it's a high percentage, but it's also high metabolically active tissue. Muscle is working so hard. It needs so much of this stuff, these electrolytes and water, whereas fat really doesn't.
Okay, so it's my understanding that the electrolytes are kind of, and we've talked about this a little bit, are kind of the door to let the water into the cell. Is that?
I like that metaphor.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Is
do.
that accurate?
I think that's great. I think that's great. Yeah, because a lot of times it gets confused with sugar. You know, have you heard that, like, well, endurance athletes, they need sugar. They say sugar.
I have heard that too.
They say that they say sugar is what drives. They say glucose is what drives the salt across the cell membrane. Well, that's actually inaccurate. That's a false statement. But that's kind of what they're saying. That would be the case for people that go put their body under extreme duress. So, like, what kind of people would that be? Probably like a marathon runner, long distance swimmers, things like
Tour de France bikers.
Going 4 hours plus of you doing your workout. Imagine doing it for 2 straight hours. Then you would start to say, you know what, I need sugar.
Okay.
You know, like, I don't know, man. I think kids are funny too because kids get done these sports. They might burn in an average 45 minutes, like 15, 20 grams of sugar. But they come off the sidelines. Their parents are standing there with donuts, Gatorades,
right,
and
oranges.
And there's like 60 grams of sugar, 40 to 60 in a Gatorade.
Okay.
Like they're over sugar. That's not needed, guys. I'm just throwing that out there. That is so not needed. Now, a natural orange is different, right? A natural sugar in the orange is great.
So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to steal your
Please go.
thunder. Steal your show. This is your show. I'm excited to be here. But so what happens if you don't get enough electrolytes?
Yeah. So I think immediately the body goes, crap, I need these. Just like it goes, I really need these. So because it's maintained. Have you ever heard of the word homeostasis? I mean, it keeps the body in a very strict range.
Yes.
So sodium, potassium is kept there, and the pH is kept
So
there.
it disrupts the homeostasis if you're not getting enough.
The body goes, I can't be disrupted, so it's going to pull from other areas. It's going to take it from bone. It's going to take it from muscle. It's going to take, and it's the sodium, potassium. It's not going to, and your kidneys are going to regulate it so strictly. So that is such a strictly regulated thing. But when you're deficient, guess what happens though? You don't have the water. Everything's thrown out of balance. You might have that strict management, but now you don't have proper hydration in the cell. What are you going to get? Cramps, right?
Gotcha.
Headaches, irritability, fatigue. You start feeling like you kind of feel like a monster, like something's off. You're like, damn, I just feel off. Am I sick? Could be dehydration. Could be you don't have proper amount of electrolytes and water. It's wild. Sleep disturbances, stress.
So what are some things that cause us to be low on electrolytes?
That's good.
Deficient.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the number one people would say was sweating, perspiration.
Okay.
But what they don't realize, they've been breathing all night long. So respiration, right? You're breathing. You're losing salt. You're losing water. So you wake up. First thing you should do is drink water. But anyway, stress does. Alcohol, diuretics, medications, right? All of these things contribute to the loss of electrolytes and water. You know?
Right. Yeah. So that's a lot of things.
So a lot of things.
Right. So if we're not supplementing with a product like this, where do we get our electrolytes, or where do electrolytes come from in our diet?
Good question, dude. Great question. So
Thanks.
ultra processed foods are a huge problem, but you are getting a lot of sodium, but it's not in the right ratios or balance. Lisa made a comment once. She's like, you should control your salt with your salt shaker. So back in the day, ancestral foods and meats and the way people ate was like, hey, they had meats and they had salt. That's kind of how they did, right? Like nowadays they have to supplement. I mean, because this ultra processed food diet's driving insulin resistance, which is the pre-diabetes world. That's a whole nother category that are causing problems with electrolytes because the kidneys now becoming overwhelmed because of the sugar. There's a famous comment. It's like, hey, don't blame the salt for what the sugar did. So because insulin resistance and diabetes now is causing the kidney to retain so much more sodium, people are getting worried about this balance.
Right. I've heard that. So if salt is the answer, can we get enough electrolytes? I mean, if we just put a lot of salt on our foods.
Yeah, you mostly can. Yeah, absolutely. You mostly can. Potassium and magnesium are not the star players in here. They're really not. I mean, they're great to have in here because they're balanced out and they are electrolytes, but it's the sodium. It's the
sodium is the
sodium primary element in
salt.
In salt. Yes. Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Okay. So kind of an alternative. I mean, can you just drink some salt water? And is there are there different levels of quality and cleanliness, purity of salt? And is there bad salt?
Yes.
That we don't want to eat?
Yes, and yes. You have to test your salts. You got to know your source of your salts because they're dirty. They're organic materials. So think about they're just using evaporation ponds or wherever they're coming to the salt, right? Could be metals, could be other contaminants. So you have to test your salts. Even the Himalayan salt, they say when they blow it up, they use the fragments of the explosive in there actually.
Oh, wow.
Because they use so much C4 to detonate and blow up the Himalayan.
That's how they make Himalayan sea salt?
Yeah.
But it's sea salt.
I know.
So what is it? Comes in chunks or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Because you see the rocks.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
It's interesting.
So it is interesting. But yeah, the quality of salt certainly matters. Absolutely. That was one thing that I made sure of for sure.
So what's a high quality salt? How do you
Yeah, so exactly. Organic sourced, so that you're able to test for it and you know that there's no metals and no contaminants. That's primary. Salt's simple though. That's not, we don't have to complicate it. It's how was it made?
Right. But it sounds like salt's pretty important.
Very.
I mean, if we're eating dirty salt, we're putting more toxins in our body, which we don't want to do.
Sure.
So is there, when you go to the grocery store, do they have organic salt?
I haven't seen it as USDA certified organic. I don't.
Okay. So what kind of salt do you buy? Kosher salt?
You can. Yeah, of course you can. If
pink salt,
if kosher matters. Salt? Right. Exactly. I still think the Himalayan's fine as long as they say that independent third party testing. You want to see that there's independent third party testing. So that's really
what you look for.
At the end of the day, sodium chloride.
Got it. Okay, cool. So what makes this better than just salt? Or is it?
No, it's just salt. But what makes it better is kind of what's not there, right? No sugar, no added junk. So no artificial flavors, no artificial sweeteners, no nothing, none of that stuff. That's what's beautiful about this. And we added actually some acerola, some vitamin C to it as well, because that's also very beneficial. So that's, awesome. I mean, it's simple and it's clean. That's what's most important. I'd say.
So let me ask you this. This is what I was waiting to ask you.
All right.
Okay. So when I drink this, it doesn't taste super salty to me. When my wife drinks it, she thinks it is super salty.
Sure.
So is that a taste thing, or is that your body saying it, like I'm not getting enough salt or potassium or sodium in my diet, electrolytes, and so my body doesn't tell me it tastes salty, so I drink more because I need it more? Or is it just coincidence or taste buds or something like that?
It's probably along the lines of taste buds. I'm the type of guy that confuses rosemary with thyme. Like I'm unable to distinguish certain things, but that to me tastes very salty. Like I can
to me,
taste the
it
salt.
actually tastes. I taste the lemon kind of sweetness almost more than the
Yeah,
salt.
that's interesting. I the salt. Certainly, I can taste the salt, but not. I mean, look, it's hard to flavor. I mean, it's not an easy thing to flavor, right? And
Right. Some people actually hate this flavor.
No
to
kidding.
be honest.
Yeah.
They say it's too salty and too lemony.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's very mild, which is
mild.
And I don't like a lot of stuff, tasting stuff, but this is easy for me.
I agree.
But I think the watermelon. So we're coming out with a new flavor.
Yep.
Very soon.
Very soon. Very soon. And that's actually really nice. Like it's funny how they can be that far different as far as flavor profiles go.
It definitely masks the saltiness, I think.
It does.
And has it's a little more. I think it's almost like grapefruity a little bit.
It does have that little bit of hint of that. Sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Let's see if we got any cool questions coming in.
Oh, I got more if you need them.
No, go. Let's go.
All right.
I like this format.
Awesome. Because I'm still trying to figure out. So, because I definitely notice a difference in my workouts when I take this product before I work out. Why is that?
So again, going back to that membrane potential, right? You have to have those elements in an ample supply. You have to have the cells properly hydrated with electrolytes in order to have full conduction, to full contraction, contractile force. So you will have more endurance. You have more output, more strength. All of that, believe it or not, is simply because of salt.
Okay, so a lot of this sounds similar. Okay.
I knew this was coming. In my head, I knew creatine was on its way. Yeah,
because it sounds like there's a lot of similarities. It hydrates the cells.
Correct.
Fuels the cells.
That's right.
Makes the cells stronger.
That's right.
Makes you stronger.
That's right.
Gives you more endurance, more stamina.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, does it support the brain too?
It does.
So what's the difference?
Big difference, right?
Okay.
Creatine in itself the creatine molecule is different. It's actually directly involved in the electron transport chain where the sodium potassium is not, so to speak. But it's different in a lot of ways. But like you said, it's 100% effective at pulling water into the cell.
Okay, so how does that differ from electrolytes?
So in a similar way, they both work by osmosis. But creatine there's a reservoir for creatine in muscle cells. It actually has like a whole entire reservoir. Like our body naturally makes it, but it starts to decline with age. So by replenishing the reservoirs, we have it there as a reserve. Whereas sodium chloride is just constantly required, needed. You know what I mean? And that has to be replenished.
So tell me if this is right or wrong.
Yeah.
Or totally unrelated. Since the creatine pulls the water into the cells, when you're taking the electrolytes, would it also kind of pull the salt into the cells as well and increase the benefits even more?
Well, try not to get too scientific, but that sodium potassium pump is going to happen no matter what. The body will have to do that. And the water will flow to where there's a higher concentration of salt. That's osmosis. It goes to the higher concentration of salt. So it will flow across that gradient wherever it's needed. And so that's what's nice about the hydration amplifier is it is designed for that. And what's not needed, the body will flush. The body will flush out.
Okay, so if we're just drinking a lot of water,
that's right,
without electrolytes, and we're taking our creatine, to hydrate the cells,
for sure.
What are we missing?
You're not missing much because then it becomes depends on Ben's fitness level, Ben's age, Ben's medical status, health status, Ben's medication list. It starts to depend on some variables. Do you live in a hot and humid environment? Like, believe it or not, these things all matter as to what people would need as far as, say, electrolyte replacement. Like, say you're the athlete you are, 5 grams daily would probably not even be enough. You should probably be even higher.
5 grams of
sodium.
Okay. So,
so
that's what I'm saying. If I'm just drinking a lot of water but not taking sodium,
right.
What
You're missing your full
So
potential.
I'm getting cramps, I'm getting
Yep,
headaches,
correct.
I'm having issues, stuff
Correct.
doesn't work right.
Absolutely. At your fitness level, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you going to survive? You'll survive.
Right.
Over time, though, those things could add up and create more problems, but you're not going to thrive. You're not going to crush your bikes. You're not going to crush your workouts, your muscle ups. You're not going to do those things to the same level when you're properly hydrated.
Yeah, I love my muscle ups. Never miss my muscle up day. But no, that makes sense. So let me ask you this again, and this kind of goes back to the taste thing, because I crave salt.
Ah, right on.
And I crave salty snacks.
Sure.
A lot.
Yeah.
Is that my body telling me I need more sodium, or is it just a taste thing?
That one's tough. I would say it's pretty noticeable. Like if your mouth is dry, it's too late. Like you're not staying ahead of the hydration curve.
Right.
Like if your skin's starting to not have the spring back and the elasticity, and you're starting to have headaches and you're starting to have cramps, you've waited too long. So the craving of salt could be your body saying, hey, like, maybe we're running a little low, but that might be too far. I mean, I don't get that, but I'm also way ahead of the curve. I don't know. That's a hard answer. I honestly don't know that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So can you eat or consume too much sodium? Like, is there too much of this?
This falls into where the FDA in my opinion, has gotten it wrong. And I was hoodwinked for a while because their recommendations like 2.3 grams a day is kind of max, but you get so much from these ultra processed foods. But man, you can go.
What do we have in here?
We have a gram. You have 1,000.
Okay.
The problem though, Ben, is that it's misguided. It's been again, going back to the sugar thing, so much a high percentage of our population is so unhealthy with prediabetes or diabetes or hypertension, high cholesterol, all these different things, that your kidneys are already under a lot of strain. So they have trouble with this electrolyte balance. And so they once said, oh, too much salt would drive heart disease through high blood pressure. And that might be true in the case of a massive bolus for a sedentary individual that's already got kidney disease and high blood pressure. And you just sit there and you just slam this giant thing of salt water. But no, that's not the case for the average healthy person, or especially the athlete. So, does that answer your question? I don't even know.
So how does how is the kidney involved in sodium? It has to go through the kidney to process and get into your cells in your body and muscles and organs and all that stuff?
It sure does. Exactly. The kidney is the primary regulator of our
okay. So
electrolytes.
There is a chance you think it's more than 2.3 grams that are going to do it, but if you're just eating tons and tons of salt,
tons of salt.
It could make your kidneys work a little harder than they
need to. And your blood pressure could go up because of it.
Okay.
For sure. But that wouldn't be the case if you followed what the recommendation is for how we're saying to incorporate this product in our daily lives.
Right. So how many times a day do you take this product?
I've never taken it more than 3.
Okay.
I've used it 3 times in a day.
Same. Yeah, I'm usually 2. This is kind of an extra one right here just because we're talking about
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Got a lot of ones in here for you guys that already worked out today. That's awesome.
Good job, guys.
Zeros. Looking good. Got some zeros, which means you're going to do it later today. That's awesome too.
No negatives?
I haven't seen any. Not a
right,
single
awesome.
one.
Everyone's planning on working out today.
I love it.
Get her done, guys. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right. Cool.
Awesome. So what other supplements did you take today?
Well, I always start my day with gut support and Shilajit. First thing on an empty stomach. Then I go the Live Good hydration amplifier with creatine and the amino acids before the workout. And now I'm taking that to the gym with me. So that's going about 30 minutes prior and then into the gym. And then I come home and I'm right into my protein and collagen and reds and greens. Then first food, I usually do like some eggs. I hit that with my multivitamin and my D. All right. No mag yet. And then I throw mag in later today. But factor 4 with food too. So 2 factor 4 soft gels each meal. 2, 4, 6. I'm up at 6 a day now.
Okay, so here's my routine. So tell me if this is good or bad or right or wrong or okay, could be better. This is what I do. I like to show the products when I
see it.
Okay, so here we go.
Bring it on.
Stand up too, and I look short when I'm sitting next to you anyway. So actually, first thing in the morning, sometimes I'll start my day with the hydration amplifier. Like right when I wake up, I'll mix it with a glass of water.
That's preferred. Okay. I don't do that. I should do that.
Sometimes I don't. So I usually have 3 eggs in the morning and a banana. That's kind of my breakfast.
Right on.
Although today I had leftover pizza and a banana. We were out of eggs.
Fair enough.
It's funny. My wife actually brought the egg. We got some farm fresh eggs from my friend John. She
Cool.
brought them to the gym because she was going to play tennis. She's like, "Can you bring these home?" Anyway,
Sweet.
funny story. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I do, and I've been drinking, and I think we've talked about this, hydrogen water
Yes.
in the morning.
Yes. Me too.
So I actually make my hydrogen water.
Right.
My buddy bought me this hydrogen flask, but we're making
the tablets.
Yeah,
We're doing the tablets. We're going to do the dissolving
yeah,
tablets.
that's exciting. Another topic to talk about. Okay,
Sure.
so I mix my hydrogen water. I put my creatine in there, my E3 pre-workout pumps me up, and my Super Reds all together, mixed together. That's my pre-workout drink. And I'll take my, hold on, wait for it. And I take my multivitamin and E3, and I drink it down with this. So there we go. Already I'm 5 products in, maybe 6 if you count that one. And if I don't take this with this stuff, then I take it actually on the way to the gym. And this is kind of weird, but I'll just dump a stick dry in my mouth and then just wash down with
Not
water.
weird. Not
Okay,
weird.
cool. Not weird. Awesome. All right. Then I get back from the gym and I drink my my plant-based protein. This is kind of my post-workout
Nice.
recovery drink. Love it. It's got all 9 essential amino acids, got everything in it. Awesome product. Do that. And then after, so I kind of use the same, hold on. Let me load up here. Keep talking for a second.
Well, it's funny, Ben. I'm looking at comments. I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me. I love the taste now. I like the lemon flavor. It doesn't taste salty to me.
Okay.
So it's funny. Yeah, a lot of like.
All right. So after that, so I'll rinse my glass out for my protein, and then I'll do a scoop of our collagen peptides mixed with our super greens. You can mix collagen with anything. A lot of people mix it in their coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
A lot of people can mix it with reds, greens, and collagen,
Correct.
whatever, or just drink it straight.
That's right.
So I do collagen, greens, and sometimes I'll even do a scoop of coffee in there if I feel like I need a little boost, if I'm a little tired, didn't sleep great. I'll do that. So those 3. Follow that, and this is a little different than what you said because you like to use.
I use gut and Shilajit first thing empty.
Right. I don't. I'm like never empty stomach. I need food.
There,
like,
sure.
The day. So I actually do these 3. I do the Shilajit and organic sea moss, vitality,
Right.
and gut support all together.
Right on.
After this, and also after usually the days that I take my methylene blue, I wash it down with the greens and collagen.
Yeah.
Drink. Yeah. So that's where we are. Afternoon, I'll usually drink a.
That's what I was going to ask you about when you put the whey in.
I usually do this.
Cool.
In the afternoon, kind of snack before dinner, and then dinner time, I drink my essential aminos, and then before bed, I will say. Oh, and then actually throughout the day, I'll work in a detox. At some point, usually after the greens and collagen mix.
Yeah, I do detox right before bed.
Getting off topic.
No, I like it. It's fine.
Cool. And then before I go to bed, where's the magnesium? I do my magnesium and factor 4, and usually another hydration stick. Yeah, that's it. And then sometimes before bed, I'll either use the sleep patches. Last night, I actually used our CBN sleep gummy. Love it. So.
Yeah, those have been awesome.
So what do you think? Like, does that work? What should I do differently?
You don't have to do anything differently.
Okay.
But here's what I think, though. That right there, you've been doing this for a long time, and you've been growing as the company grows. You've been adding in. People want to know how to do this. So we've got
to that's why I want you guys to. Yeah.
We need to find a way to maybe help print a card or figure out a way to make a public something that helps them see when should we do this. Because I would say this is the most common question I get is how do I know when do I take everything? Stuff?
Yeah.
Because you've got it dialed in really well, even though it's slightly different from mine.
Right.
I could improve a little bit though. So that's what's neat. Like there's different ways to do this and still get all the benefits. I love it.
Awesome.
No, I absolutely love it.
Good.
We've got more and more things coming.
Yeah, I know. It's just like scary.
So funny.
Because I used to take like a multivitamin.
Yeah.
I used to take
for sure.
Pre-workout creatine. But yeah, I mean, dude, this is freaking awesome.
Well, you know what's hilarious is like we're talking about the importance of like positively charged minerals, right? And here you have, I would say, seriously, one of the most fundamental supplements we should all be taking. this Shilajit because of all those trace minerals.
Yeah.
And then someone just asked, well, what about the benefits for iodine? And they cut iodized sea salt. Remember, we put iodine, we added iodine for people to have health issues with their thyroid, goiter and such. But like this sea moss has natural iodine in it. And so there's so many trace minerals in here, like 96 or 100 plus, because it's plus the organic sea moss, all your trace minerals. Whereas the magnesium and these minerals are considered macro minerals. Because you take so much of them. These are just trace. You take a lot less, but still just important. So glad you brought that up.
Another question, because this product has electrolytes.
Yes. Good. I'm glad you brought that up.
This product has electrolytes.
Yes.
So are these considered a dose of that or a serving?
No, they're not. But they are intentionally in there though, because like we talked about earlier, sugar can help drive, or it was proposed that it could drive the salt across the cell membrane. Amino acids are proposed to be able to do that. So we added the electrolytes as basically they're almost like a carrier molecule. It actually helps facilitate the movement of electrolytes across the cell membrane. So it's just super beneficial to have them part of that. And if people just are ignoring electrolytes entirely altogether, some is better than none.
Right.
So we wanted this to be performance-based supplements, something to help.
I get it.
People.
So this doesn't count as a serving of electrolytes.
Yeah, no.
Even though there's electrolytes in it, and even though this one's name has electrolytes.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
In it. So if this is 100% of a serving, what's this and what's this?
Well, there's no hard rule to that. You know what I mean? There's no suggested recommended daily.
Does this have sodium in it?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, let me get my.
Readers. I know.
Isn't it crazy, dude?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So this has 100 milligrams. That has 1,000 milligrams.
Yeah. So it's 10 times. Yeah, it's 10 times the amount.
So this has 250. No, 230. I can't read. 225, 235, something like that. Yeah. Okay. But it's interesting. Yeah.
It was fun too because we tweaked that a little bit based because it helped with the flavor profile a little bit.
Okay.
It was actually fun because we were messing with the amounts of sodium just to see if it would change some of the flavor profile.
Right. So this is about 25%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about 10%.
Right.
So awesome. But that's the idea. You want to get it from good sources and not ultra processed food sources. So you still need to be getting it in. And then we launched this prior to the stick packs. And we said for stick packs, we need to go all in and actually get to a therapeutic, where this is a standalone product.
Awesome.
That people can incorporate into the daily kind of supplement regimen.
So here's something that's interesting. So we go snowboarding a lot. And all of the ski resorts and houses or wherever you go, they've always got some kind of hydration product in the house.
That's right.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I guess, is that a high altitude thing? Is that an exercise thing?
That is. It's a dehydration thing. It's imagine this scenario, right? And I talked about this before. Imagine you have to travel to death. So you get up early, you get a workout in on a spin, whatever, you sweat. Then you hurry up, you got to get on the plane somewhere. So you're not drinking a lot of water, you're traveling, get out there, you go to the mountains, you go out, maybe you're out to dinner late. And the next thing you know, you wake up you do that for a few days. Your body is completely whooped. You really feel it, man.
People get off the plane and they get altitude.
Oh, immediately.
Is that...
You have to have this on board ready to go before you even land, because that will help you with altitude sickness.
So if you're going to a high altitude place, which is more than 5,000?
Yeah, I'd say
4,000. There's some place in North Carolina.
Sure.
Go to the mountains in Colorado, Utah, Montana, Wyoming. Yeah. So have this, take it on the plane.
Yep.
Maybe two, but
100%
definitely take at least one on the plane,
hydrated
within an hour or two of when you're going to land, and help prevent that altitude sickness.
It's funny. It's like you said, climate matters so much. So the high altitude with dehydration is a big thing, right? High relative humidity, where we have high dew points, like Florida, that's a big thing. So really, it does matter. I mean, I guess if you sit couch potato and you just sit and not do anything all day, maybe not as important, but still,
if you're eating salty snacks all day, it might be
okay.
Okay, you're not sweating them out. But if you're drinking alcohol, if you're taking prescription medication,
that's right. And that's how the drugs work. A lot of these first-line drugs for blood pressure work. That's what they are. They're diuretics. So they flush the body out. See you later. Sodium. See you later. Potassium. They actually have a drug called potassium-sparing diuretic. So it spares the potassium.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so many meds deplete our body.
So you could either take this or a drug so you don't.
so you don't lose your potassium.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, man. But again, it goes back to what I say about this body composition thing. We talk about this so often, how important this lean muscle mass is, because if your body is overweight with the unhealthy fat, you just heard it earlier, you're metabolically unhealthy, your sodium balance is all out of whack, you're pre-diabetic, your sugars are out of whack. It's really bad, because that's just chronic disease. Like that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Good job, man.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you want to answer any
I
questions?
think, well, it's kind of funny. We can wrap it up. We 35 minutes in. Try to keep it at 30 minutes or under.
No, I like it. Well, yeah, I think we gave people a lot of information, a lot of value, a lot of good stuff. Hopefully you guys learned something. I learned a lot today. So thanks for letting me crash your party.
That's awesome. Happy to have you, man. Anytime.
Yeah.
All right.
So
cool.
what's Reese doing today?
Reese is at school right now.
Oh, she's school today.
School today.
Oh,
I know.
okay.
But I hope everybody had a happy Easter, happy Passover. And yeah, we got to go. I have to go get her back from the bus stop and get to volleyball.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's a busy schedule, man. Yeah, keep you busy.
Sweet.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember to please subscribe to the channel so you get up-to-date information from us. And until next time, have a great day. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.